What's up, everybody? This is Albert Chow with Mission Daily. Today, Stephanie Postal's not available to record with me, so I'm going to do my own episode, a little solo episode. And if you heard me last time, you know I went on a bit of a rant about personal responsibility and whether or not people should be more responsible for their own income, the fact that their own financial future or the stability of their financial future is completely predicated based upon factors outside their control. You see what's happening with people looking to work, open to network, talking on LinkedIn, trying to get some help. We see a lot of people really upset, and it's really unfortunate. It's sad to see so many people looking for work. But I talked about a little bit about personal responsibility and how do you owe yourself an obligation to learn how to make a secondary source of income, to generate a secondary source of income right away. Since you absolutely know for certainty that economic downturns are cyclical. It happens all the time, and it's going to happen again. So the next time we're going to start going on the up, you're going to feel nice, you're going to feel great, but a downturn's probably right around the corner. In fact, here in Raleigh, Epic Games just announced that they're cutting 16% of their workforce, so it's going to be tough. But I want to talk about a different type of personal responsibility and what I think most of you don't know, which is how little the insurance company will look after you. And I'm talking about health insurance. I'm talking about automotive and property insurance, homeowners insurance. So my question to you is homeowners insurance a scam? Does it need to be changed? Is it, do you even know how it even works? Because when you have homeowners insurance, you automatically assume that they're going to protect you, especially when it's not your fault. When you purchase homeowners insurance, the number one thing I think most of us have an expectation of is, number one, you buy a policy that covers about the value of your home. Sounds great. And you buy a policy thinking, hey, if something bad really happens, like a meteor hits my house, I'll be reimbursed. If you're in a townhome, you just assume that homeowners insurance is going to protect you from your neighbor. So if your neighbor has a fire or a flood, you'll be protected. But have you ever really needed insurance? Have you ever pulled the trigger and tried to get help? You might find that, man, homeowners insurance is not as helpful as you would think. Granted, it does relieve some financial pressure, but let me kind of walk you through what I'm going through. Number one, I had a situation where there was a leak, unknown source of water. Excuse me, it wasn't even a leak, an unknown source of water. That's the best way to describe it. Because at the time, that's what it was. There's an unknown source of water going into my unit. My unit's floor started warping and changing, and we could never figure out what it was. We contacted plumbers. We contacted leak detection specialists, and sure enough, there was no leaks in the house. There's no leaks in the house. In fact, we also surveyed our neighbors, and they found out that, hey, the neighbors weren't experiencing leaks, so they said, and therefore, if no one's experiencing a leak, and only your unit's experiencing a leak, and it's not coming from inside your house, then it must be coming from outside. You have a groundwater problem. So look at your policy, or do you understand your homeowner's insurance policy? If you don't have flood insurance, I don't know if you know this, outside water doesn't count. That's right. If you don't have flood insurance, let me restate, any water from the outside that is natural in any way does not count. It's not considered a covered event. You need flood insurance. Even though my house is on a hill. On this hill, it is considered above grade, and it's actually not recommended, as in I don't need flood insurance, and you don't need flood insurance to insure your house when you have, even if you have a mortgage on it. So why would I have it? I don't have flood insurance. So they're saying it must be groundwater. So this goes on. And so I'm doing all these tests, and I'm like, dang it, I got to fix this. But when you're fixing something that is damaged by water and you have not stopped the source of water, it's just going to be a problem again. So I was super nervous because I'm trying to fix a floor, specifically a floor. But what's the point? The water shows up intermittently. Now, it's not consistent. It's like sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. It's like, what is it? Like, no one can figure out what this is. Well, fast forward last weekend, the water tank of my neighbors broke. It was really old. Come to find out that they haven't changed it in over 20 years. So that's bad on them. And there's mold all on the inside, on their side of the townhome. Super moldy. So it's been leaking the whole time. That's the source of water. So take lesson number one. Don't take what your neighbor says as true. You kind of have to verify it or check it. And if they won't let you, I think you have to, I don't know, you have to figure out a way to see it, because in this instance. I mean, I should have offered, looking back on it, I should have offered to probably pay for that leak test over there. I was like, hey, I will pay for it. It would have solved my problem a lot sooner. Okay, so fast forward. Now we know the source of the water. There's a lot of water damage now, but now we go to insurance. We should be able to take care of it, right? Right? You think so? Insurance will take care of you? Bro, you're wrong. Insurance will help you, but it's not what you think, right? Remember what I said from the top. You assume when you buy insurance and you have a policy that has the value of your home, that if something bad happened to your home, it would be covered. I can tell you, it's not. Super weird. There's assessments. There's people fighting. Who owns what problem? There's insurance to insurance subrogation, which I can talk. Well, that's where an insurance company. So I have Liberty Mutual. My insured neighbor has State Farm. Subrogation is where Liberty Mutual will pay me what the cost to repair, and they'll go get the money back from from the other insurance company, State Farm. But herein lies the problem with that. Number one, you have to determine what the value they're going to pay you is. And they often don't pay you the actual cost of the repair. Meaning, let's say you have wood floors, like I do. Let's just make up a number. 400 square feet, $4 a square foot for wood, $1,600 is the total cost of the wood. They might offer you $1,600. That's the real cash value of the floor. They seemingly never account for the labor. How much does it cost, and when can you get someone in to actually do that for you? Anyone who looks in the trades right now knows that labor costs are through the roof. So, and availability is also through the roof. So, meaning you might have a problem, a water problem, but there's not actually someone that can help you for weeks. That's what I experienced or am experiencing. So when I think about this, if I think about someone who is, let's say you're financially responsible, but you don't make a lot of money, you have some savings, but you don't have tons of savings, and something bad happens to you, like it happened to me, where my neighbor's water tank breaks and it floods my unit, who's on the hook for the repair? I got bad news. You are. Meaning you, the homeowner, are. You're on hook for the repair. Your insurance company might help you out, even though you're insured. And that's a huge problem. The insurance industry right now is going through and suffering through a catastrophic change, in my opinion. If you take a look and you look at how many natural events are causing massive home problems, you can go with the hurricanes of Florida and Hurricane Alley. You can go with the wildfires of California. If you heard, multiple insurance companies are pulling out of California. They're not even going to do it. What's happening in the Northeast, as I record this right now, record rains, New York, record rains. So what's happening is these natural events are becoming more frequent, and they're becoming bigger, and they're becoming more costly as the cost of replacement, cost of trades work keeps going through the roof. There's no way insurance companies can keep covering the value of our homes and our property without raising rates extraordinarily high. So they're going to price people, and I don't blame them. This is the economics of it. They're going to price people out of the ability to buy insurance. So what does the world look like what does the world look like if you can't insure your most expensive assets? What would happen? Would you ever buy a home that was $1 million home, knowing that if someone burned it to the ground, like you would get zero? I think we're heading toward the insurance industry as it is today is going to have to raise rates and premiums to such a level that I think it's going to be extremely difficult for anyone to afford it. It's because the cost of repair is going through the roof. The only way they'll be able to do it is they will lower their payouts, which is happening, in my opinion, right now to people like you and me. You might have done everything right, but they're not going to pay you what it costs to replace anything that you lost. So then you're like, why do I have insurance to begin with? It was such a letdown. I mean, I've never been more let down thinking that, hey, I was protected, but I'm actually not. And this happened to me once before when I got hit by a drunk driver. I was at a red light and a drunk driver hit the back of my car. So I was parked at a red light again, parked at a red light, hit in the back. and it was an underinsured drunk driver, which actually had three DUIs in a 12-month calendar period. So people are like, oh, they should have their license suspended. The dude did. He still drove the car anyway. So anyways, my insurance company valued my vehicle at far less than the price of where I could buy a comparable replacement. So, and I argued, but at the same time, I didn't want to like sue my insurance guy because I wasn't hurt. I mean, like, what was I going to gain? By the time I paid all my lawyer fees, I would just wipe all my gains. So they gave me like $10,000, and then they went and subrogated against the other person's insurance. The other person, they were driving their girlfriend's car at the time. So it was the girlfriend's car insurance company was the one that was named in the subrogation. This dude who had a suspended license just took her car without her, well, I think with her knowledge. I don't really know, but I'm assuming with her knowledge. So I got screwed. Sitting at a red light, rear-ended by a drunk driver. Insurance company pays some, helps kind of, but I still got to get a car. I need to work. At the time, this was pre-COVID, so people are still driving to work. So I had to fork out an extra 10 grand to buy a car. It sucked. I don't think people realize when you buy an insurance policy and you insure your home, you assume that when something bad happens to you, that the value or the cost of actually replacing whatever that is covered. You got bad news. It's not. Tell me what you guys think. What needs to happen in the insurance industry? What's going to change? I think that it's just going to continue to get worse in that either A, premiums stay relatively as a percentage of the home the same, but they'll just cover less, or B, they'll raise premiums to the point where you can't get coverage, and that'll be a problem. But what's the world look like without insurance? Do we have smaller homes? Do we have more tiny homes? Like, what does it look like? I'd be curious. Part of me thinks that insurance companies should just be more clearly obvious. I'm like, we only pay 10% of what you experience. And I think that, and then my expectations aligned. It'd be kind of cool. You will reimburse me based on what percentage of coverage I want. That'd be cool. Check it out. Tell me what you think. Go over to Mission Daily podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. I'll go more into details of what I experienced. Check it out.